Shaina Low. She's the Communications Advisor at the Norwegian Refugee Council and is speaking to us from occupied East Jerusalem. Shaina, it's always good to have you on this news hour. So now we have this extra day of a truce. What does it mean for the humanitarian situation in Gaza that is so dire right now?
Well, first of all, it means that for Palestinians in Gaza, they have one more night where they can sleep soundly and not worry about airstrikes collapsing the roofs over their head. But what it means in terms of the aid response is very limited. These 200 trucks that are entering per day are nowhere near enough to meet the basic humanitarian needs caused after 7 weeks of continuous hostilities. 1 week has not been enough time to address these issues. There are so many challenges to having an effective humanitarian response, first and foremost being the bureaucratic nightmare that is getting trucks in through the Rafah crossing. It requires coordination with multiple agencies. It takes days for trucks to get through. We ourselves have faced challenges in understanding where our trucks are in the pipeline, which of course makes it very difficult to organize a response, not knowing when the materials that need to be distributed are going to arrive. So we desperately need, first and foremost, this pause to be transformed into a permanent ceasefire so that we can continue to provide assistance and that humanitarians can provide assistance throughout Gaza. And in addition to that, we need the opening of additional crossings, including the Kerem Shalom crossing in the south of Israel, which is where the majority of goods passed through prior to October 7th. There they have the facilities and the means to allow for a major scaling up of humanitarian assistance.
Shaina, what are you hearing from aid workers in Gaza, your own staff included, about what they're seeing on the ground and the conditions they're having to work in? It's hard to imagine really what they're going through right now.
What we're hearing is that people, even after a week of pause, even after an increase in aid going in, there is still desperation for more assistance. You have to remember that 1.7, 1.8 million out of 2.3 million people have been internally displaced, and most of those people left with nothing other than what they could carry. So they're in need of everything from food, water, medicines, to also mattresses, bedding, kitchen equipment, everything you can imagine that you need for human survival. And so what we're hearing is that people are getting increasingly desperate, despite the pause, to have access to materials and food and water to make their lives somewhat more bearable.
Shaina Low, thank you so much for speaking to us and talking about that worsening humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Thank you, Shaina.